I'm not sad, I'm just not smiling. Yo, Darious Britt here, and today we are reviewing the short film Removed, directed by Nathaniel Matanik. The short film definitely falls under the drama category. You could say it's, it's inspired by a lot of research, or, possibly inspired by multiple true stories. It's about 13 minutes long. It's won a few awards. It's toured the fest circuit. All of this you can find in the description section of the video. I really enjoyed this short film. I think before I jump off into reviewing it, if you haven't seen it yet, you should definitely check it out first. I'll leave a link in the description section so you could go over there, throw some eyeballs on it, come back, and then we could, chat it up a little bit. Too late, let's get into it. Short synopsis. Well, we follow a young girl. She's removed from an abusive home and introduced into the foster care system, and she runs through, various parents. This video sort of serves as a piece that spreads awareness about this whole process. The title, Removed. One word, very simple, very direct, especially if you're already vaguely familiar with the premise of the short film. You combine that with a thumbnail of a not so happy looking young girl, and you're definitely not going to confuse this as possibly being a comedy. Pretty clear what it's probably about, just saying. Plot structures. Setup. We meet a little girl, life's not so great at home, inciting incident. The police arrest this little girl's pops, and the Child Protective Services take her and our little brother away. Rising action. Our little girl bounces from foster home to foster home, wreaking havoc on well-intentioned foster parents as she struggles to cope with her past. Climax. When she gets a dress from her latest foster mom, it reminds her of her parents and sends her into an emotional tailspin that threatens to destroy the one mom that seems to have stuck by her the most. Resolution. Our little girl receives a surprise that uplifts her spirits. It's her bruh! Because this short is so well written and it's literally narrated to us in the voice of this little girl, it takes on a sort of lyrical quality. It's very personal, very subjective. We are in this little girl's head the entire time as we watch her go on this journey, and it's freaking heartbreaking. It's got a lot of things going for it. One, it builds awareness about the whole foster care system and what it's like for kids coming out of abusive homes. That's a very meat and potatoes type subject to tackle. Two, I loved the acting. Very naturalistic, very grounded in realism. It's definitely obvious that they were working with some professionals here, especially the scenes with the abusive home and the dad, getting at the mom. Very, very powerful stuff. Three, great casting, particularly the little girl. This girl has a great look to her. The camera just loves her. Very, very magnetic. Four, I loved the score. Very smart choice of how they did the music here. Even though the short film is fairly dramatic, the music is not exactly what you would expect to accompany a film like this. And that's freaking awesome. The last thing you would want is to have a dramatic film and then have overly dramatic music over top of that film. Sometimes it's best to go a different direction with the music and kind of subvert the drama, so that way you can build another layer into things, so it's not all one note. Five, the film was well shot. Very beautiful. It looks very professional, very polished, very well lit, and even though we do get a ton of close-ups of the little girl in this instance, in my opinion, that's okay, because that's where we need to be. We're inside of her head and we want to be with her. And number six, I think the biggest accomplishment for this film by far is in the direction. The film presents a very intense, very raw, very heartbreaking story, but it never asks you for your sympathy. Nothing in this film tells you how you're supposed to feel about what you're seeing. They just present the circumstances and then allow you to decide for yourself how you feel about it. It's not heavy-handed storytelling. They're not spoon-feeding it to you. They're just saying, it is what it is. What do you think about it? This film could have easily fallen into the trap of being one big giant sentimental pity party where we just see this girl being sad and crying scene after scene, but they didn't give us that. They gave us a fighter. They chose to play more to her strength as a character. She does cry, but when she does, it's restrained. She's trying to hold it in. Even in the narration, you can hear the sass and the rebelliousness in her words.
How could you ever understand where I come from? You haven't walked my path. You haven't seen what I've seen.
This little girl is so brave and resilient amongst all this conflict and psychological turmoil that it makes us want to root for her. It's watching her go through this struggle and not giving up, but continually fighting back, continually trying to push forward, that makes her a sympathetic character to us. And talking about craft a little bit, from an acting, directing standpoint, even though this is a sad story, I would challenge you to count the number of scenes where this little girl is actually sad. I think you'll find that 90% of the time she's not acting sad, she's just not smiling. You'll find she looks at her surroundings a lot, she studies people a lot, she studies objects, she explores things. She does have her moments when she does cry, and she does have moments when she's angry, but for the most part she doesn't give us much of anything. But because we've been following along with her on this journey the entire time, we naturally want to fill in the blanks. And that's the beauty of good storytelling. You let the edit tell the story so that all your actor really has to do is just be in the moment and react honestly to the situations that they're in. You don't need any big actorish pyrotechnics. You don't need acting with a capital A. They can just keep it simple. I really enjoyed this short, man. I really dug it. And after I got done watching it, this happened. So who's it for? This obviously caters to the foster care community and anybody who's experienced something like this before, but I also think that it has very broad appeal. For one, it's really educational, and two, it does such a thorough job of grabbing you by the hand and walking you through this experience that anybody with a beating heart could emotionally connect with this. Hate it or love it, leave a comment in the comment section and let me know what you thought. Well, that's all I got for you. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like, subscribe. You can also find me on the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, the Twitter, baby. You can also check out my second YouTube channel, Darious Britt, where I do the vlogs and the live casting, etc., etc. And I do believe that's it. Deeper out.